Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 68 of the 476ers podcast. We're going to talk about last night's Charlotte game, so stay tuned.
Yo. Yeah. Justice for the blind, just something that'll find in the rhymes that are coming from my mind.
Good morning, or good afternoon, everyone, whenever this podcast hits you. Hopefully it finds you well. We're going to talk about yesterday's game against the Charlotte Hornets. Listen, if we're going to keep playing this well, I'm going to have to start, I might have to, my negativity, right, is what brings out the best in my podcast. If you guys haven't noticed, it's usually my angry podcasts that are hilarious. And if we're going to be playing this well, where I don't have anything to complain about, I'm going to have to do maybe a segment where I complain like the other team, like where I like come on here and I'm like, I don't know. That's Scary Terry. Yeah, I see why you're so scary, because you're trash. And it's like, it's like you hear the Jaws theme song, right? Is that it? Because it's about to go bad. It can't wait for it to go bad. I don't know who you think you are. I know you're scoring a lot of points over the last few games, but yesterday this is why you're Scary Terry, the backup point guard, and not Scary Terry, a starting point guard. And Devontae, it's like the shorter you get, the further away you start shooting shots from. Get closer. You don't need to shoot so far all the time. Three-pointers count from 23 feet and 35 feet. It's the same point total. You don't need to shoot from over there. I don't know why you're doing that. I know you put some weight on and you think you're Dame, but you're not. You're not the same as Dame. All right? You're not. You're Devontae. You're not Dame. Okay? Get it through your – listen, the Martin twins. You guys, maybe if we put you – if we would just combine the chromosomes into one Martin, then you'd probably be good. You'd probably be just a good basketball player. But instead, we got Cody and Caleb, and both of you are half of one. And neither one of you are good. Neither one of the ones is good. And to the Martins together make one backup player. And Bismack, Lord have mercy. How long are you going to steal money in the NBA? How long are you going to be robbing franchises blind? Something like that. I don't know. I'm sorry to those guys. I don't even know them. I feel bad that I would even do such a thing. Here I am I like Devontae Graham. I don't even think he's short. I mean, he is, but I don't think he's that short. He's not like Tory Lanez. Anyway, but let's talk positivity because it's Sixers. We're Sixers fans on this podcast. Man, I don't even know where to start, honestly. Let's start with Toby. Fuck it. Toby, man. Excuse the COVID. I'm sorry. COVID is crushing me again. It looked like it was getting better last week, and then this week it started 2021. It really started New Year's Eve. It started to get bad again, and here we are. So now it's just back to same old COVID. Maybe I got that new strain or a different strain of the new strain. I don't know. All I know is there may be coughing on this podcast or shallow breathing. Just to be ready for it. Maybe I faint and this podcast never comes out. I may pass out. Every time I do a podcast, I feel I'm going to pass out at the end of it. But I'm here for the people. I'm a man of the people. If you know me, you know I'm a man of the people. Anyway, I'm sorry. This is not about me. I mean, it is about me. That's why I'm doing the podcast because it's something narcissistic, I'm sure. Anyway, this is the point. 76ers. Toby, you're playing great. Listen, I can't say again. Game 3, can't say anything negative. It's funny. My homie Dominic texted me yesterday. He said Toby's coming for me. And right as he spoke too soon. It's his fault. Right as he texted me, Toby then did too much almost immediately. But it was the only time he did too much. It was the only time he had done too much. He caught himself dribbling a little bit more than he should have been dribbling, and caught himself, at the top of the key, and he just couldn't. Like I'm watching him, and I'm sitting there like Toby, pass it out, just pass it out, baby. And he just had to force this bad pass to Dwight. He knows what he did wrong because right after he said he should have put it up. He was telling himself he needed to put that up high. He tried to throw like a direct line drive, which LaMelo immediately intercepted. But that was the only time he did too much. Honestly, it's the only time he did too much. It's just funny. It's just like funny watching him. He's like it's like the Inception needle, the Inception spinny thing, where it's just spinning and then it's just slowly, and it's like, is this a dream or is this is reality, isn't it? And boop, reality. He throws his pass away. But other than that, honestly, he played great. You know what I mean? I got nothing really negative to say. Offensively, he's playing incredible. Offensively, he's playing great right now. Just again, keeping things simple, not doing too much. He definitely tried to dunk on Biyombo again, which was excellent. but it really just resulted in a really nice layup. But I promise you, he was trying to dunk on him. 10 for 16 on 22 points. Obviously, what it is Toby has never been someone to get to the free throw line that often, and I'm not going to ask him to do more than he's doing. You know what I mean? If he's going to be shooting 63%, then I'm gonna eat that, right? I'm gonna eat that. If he can get to the free throw line 3 or 4 times a game and because that's really, in most cases, like let's say Toby's averaging 19 a game. If he's able to hit 3 free throws a game, that's how you get. Free throws usually are what separate the all-star from the elite, right? This is what makes Joe so incredible. Right? Joe is not only getting to the line often, but he makes a lot of them. You know what I mean? And all of these elite players make a lot of free throws. Steph in his MVP seasons made a lot of free throws. James Harden is routinely the league leader in free throw shooting. LeBron is always at the free throw line. Kawhi Leonard's always at the free throw line. All of these guys were always at the free throw line. DeMar DeRozan at his best was constantly at the free. Was one of the best free throw shooters and one of the and one of the most abundant free throw shooters. So if Toby gets to the line, that'd be great. I'm not going to nitpick right now. I mean, I think he's playing great. I would love to just keep this rhythm going. That's all I give a shit. Keep the rhythm. You know what I mean? I do think he passed well. Honestly, I do think he did pass well. He had one full court. He was feeling it. There was like 2 back-to-back plays where I was like, oh, okay, Toby, yeah. And then he launches a full court pass to Danny Green, which is that's the most terrifying 2-man combination I could ever think of playmaking. One Tobias Harris launching a full court pass to Danny Green is usually a scary prospect. You usually want somebody who's a good playmaker mixed in here. You know what I mean? But it was on the money. Danny, to his credit, caught it and finished it. I mean, Toby was just feeling it. Like I said, both of these guys, because then Danny had this one pass. Listen, against most good teams, this is going to get intercepted. You need to chill, but he was at the elbow, and at the elbow 3, I think this happens in the third quarter, and he launches a one-arm pass. He thought he was Magic for a second to Toby, who's under the basket, and Toby catches it, kind of cradles it and goes right up. And I think against most good teams, that probably gets intercepted or stopped. But, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. Like I said on the last podcast, passing is confidence. Good passing requires confidence, and these guys are all playing with confidence right now. All of them are playing with confidence, and therefore they're throwing these passes that I would normally not be too excited about. Not excited about, I'm sorry, that I would be a little worried of in a game against one of the better teams. But, to their credit, they're playing really well. Also, Toby's defense has been great. Honestly, listen, he was on an island guarding a few guys yesterday. He ended up on an island guarding Gordon Hayward, who, again, as I spoke about, is average to elite offensive player. And I thought Gordon was I thought he was pretty aggressive. As aggressive as Gordon is, Gordon's not the most aggressive player. That's not his game. His game is not to be a scorer. That's why he was perfect for the Celtics, honestly. Not that I give a fuck, but that's what made him perfect for the Celtics. Is his game is not about scoring. His game is very much a shooting version of Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? That's what his game is. He would much rather end a game with 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists than having 30 points. You know what I mean? From watching him over the years, that's what he strikes me as, and he came here to be that, which is, I think, the problem with giving him that contract is like, well, you don't have the scorer yet. If Devontae taking these steps back is the problem. He played better yesterday, but he's been shooting, I think, sub 20% from 3 right now. He has been the problem, honestly. And Terry's playing well. And credit to Terry, really has remade his body over the last couple of years. I mean, if you saw him 3 years ago on the Celtics, 2 years ago on the Celtics, he was just a skinny kid. Now he looks jacked right now. I mean, he really remade his body, but it's just not enough. I mean, Terry's just not enough. Terry can't be your point guard. He can't be your best basketball player, is whatever. They're missing Cody Zeller. Zeller helps them. As much as I'm like, Zeller, saying Cody Zeller is not going to move any needles, but Cody Zeller does help them. He's a better defender than Bismack. He's bigger and stronger. He can spread the floor a little bit. He's just a better, he's a serviceable center. He's better than Bismack Biyombo. You know what I mean? Biyombo is a career backup. He has no business guarding Joel Embiid for any amount of time on any given day. But anyway, that's off topic. Toby, I thought you played great. He also ended up a couple of times on LaMelo where I thought he did a pretty good job defensively. Who should? I mean, Joe. The thing is, yesterday, I really don't think yesterday we had a best player. I thought yesterday was a great team win. I'm going to give it to Toby just to show love, to show people I'm not a hater. I just expect more out of these guys. I'm going to say Toby was our best player, but I really don't. Deep in my heart of hearts, I didn't feel like we had a best player because I felt like at different parts of the game, all of these guys were doing things, whether Joe was playing great defense. I mean, Ben's defense, I'll talk about Ben in a second. I mean, wow. Seth, I thought, was playing great at certain times. I thought Danny had a really good game. Toby played great. I thought Tyrese was a fucking game changer. I thought Dwight was a game changer. I thought yesterday was an excellent, excellent, excellent team win, which it was the most Spursian games we've had. This is the most Spursian game we've had. If you want Joe to be Tim Duncan, that was the closest Tim Duncan impersonation you could ask him to do. You know what I mean? Score here and there, but defensively locked down. And that was what happened yesterday. The Hornets came out and they gave us their listen, people are again confusing back-to-back games against the same opponent as something completely brand new. It's not. Home and homes have existed. The only difference, again, to say is that the Hornets played here 2 times in a row as opposed to us now going to Charlotte and play them. They just played here 2 times in a row. This is nothing new. Home and homes are games that always happen. I bet on home and homes all the time because the first team that wins the home and home, the second game gets a lot closer usually. So point being, anyway, that's not the point. Great team. So it was a great team win. Joe offensively, I thought Joe looked off in the first quarter. Just looked weird. He missed a free throw and then hunched over, and I was wondering if maybe his back was bothering, which then made me feel like shit because I was criticizing him last week about that. And listen, again, I did say the disclaimer on that podcast that if he's injured, he's injured. I'm not saying to play through the injury, but I want to know how. I wonder how injured he actually was, but he looked off, and when he missed that free throw, he was hunched over and he was mad at himself for missing, but it's weird to see someone hunched over mad at themselves that way. It made me wonder if maybe his back was bothering him. He just didn't look completely right. The Hornets, credit to them, did a fantastic job on defense in the first quarter and a half or so. They were really working their ass off. Listen, they were playing their ass off for the first quarter and a half. They were playing above and beyond their skill level, I thought. I thought they were doing I thought Gordon was being more aggressive offensively. I thought defensively they did a great job forcing the ball away from Joe, essentially stopping Joe from catching the ball at all. But I wonder again how much. I wonder if Joe may have been a little. I don't know. It just looked weird to me. But as the game went on, Joe essentially he didn't quit on offense. I'm not going to say he quit because he still made a lot of really great passes. I thought. He had 4 assists and only 1 turnover. Joe played really, really well on offense. He just stopped. He wasn't forcing, looking for a shot. He shot 3 3-pointers and missed them all. And there was a couple plays where he caught the ball at the 3-point line. And I think Joe last year would have shot those. This year, he opted to move the ball. And I thought that was really, really telling about where Joe's mindset is, where it's like, all right, offense isn't going well. Maybe I'm not going to be able to get 30 this game, but I can help facilitate, set screens, and play incredible defense. He finished with 2 steals and 3 blocks, which is more on par to the first game, which I said in that game where he did 1,000 things that aren't going to be in the box score. And I thought yesterday, though, now they showed up in the box score this time. Affecting shots around the rim. The Miles Bridges finished that one layup on him in the third quarter. That should have probably been an offensive foul. Joe went straight up and down, and Miles somehow is holding him off with one arm and leaning with the other arm and finishing. The play before, Gordon tried to challenge him at the rim. You just can't. You're just not. None of you guys have what it takes. Terry had a really nice layup. The following play after the Miles Bridges layup, Terry had that really nice reverse, which they said on the broadcast he could have went straight up. He couldn't. Had he gone straight up, Joe would have eaten that. He had to do that reverse. You know what I mean? Because you got to keep the defense on your toe. I mean, it was a hell of a finish, honestly. Whatever. It was a great finish, but I thought Joe, again, defensively just set the tone. You know what I mean? In the second quarter, that we're fighting, and then boom, Joe comes back into the game. The starters come back in, and we take off, and that's the end of the game, essentially. We beat them every quarter, just like the previous game. This game, though, we beat them in the first quarter by 1 point. We beat them in the second quarter by 12 or 13 points. or something. I forgot how many points we beat them in the second. And then in the third and fourth quarter, we beat them by 1 point each. So we had to have beat them. The second quarter, we outscored them by 15. That's right. Yeah, we went into we were up 15. We were up 15 going into the third quarter. Third quarter, we won by 1 point. Fourth quarter, we won by 1 point. So, I mean, a great game. You know, just a great game. Ben, listen, Ben started off aggressive offensively. You know, looking for a shot. Again, you know, man, Ben's offense is really, really fucking driving me crazy. 6 for 13. These are all layups. You know what I mean? It's 6 for 13 on layups. That sucks. That's not good, right? You no big man, no post big man is going to shoot 6 for 13, and you're going to be happy with it. That's like that. That's what the Al Jefferson problem was. Why Al Jefferson was skilled but just was never that good, right? What people just didn't like Al Jefferson that much, why he could never had a chance, is that he wasn't a super efficient big man in the post. It's like you're gonna post up and shoot sub 50%. Well, what the fuck? What are we even posting up for then? You know what I mean? What are we even posting up for? Because now that point per possession, like I talked about previously, is dropping sub 1. That's problematic. So Ben going 6 for 13 is that's a sub 1 point per possession. But with that said, I thought he did a good job facilitating, and his defense yesterday, over since the Cavaliers game, his defense has been, I mean, out of this world. You know, I don't think anyone scored on him yesterday. I wanted to watch the game today, rewatch it to verify that, because last night after the game, I was like, man, I can't remember one time that anyone scored on Ben unless it was on a switch. Someone, you know, it gets switched off. Ben starts as the primary defender, gets switched off, and then that person scores. But I don't think anyone scored on Ben yesterday. His defense yesterday was wild. You know what I mean? Like, he really stepped up on defense. Like, he was – the combination of him and Joe, this is really what it comes down to, right? When people are talking about splitting Ben and Joe, what you're really you're not talking about an elite offensive team. You're not talking about splitting an elite offensive tandem. You're talking about splitting an elite defensive tandem. And my whole point last week, even when I talked about the possibility of trading Ben for James Harden, even when I talk about it now, I mean, I don't know. I don't listen. We beat up on some bad teams. You know what I mean? What's going to happen when we go up against the Hawks or the Bucks or the Nets when they're going well? Are we going to be able to stop those teams from scoring? And are we going to be able to score with them if they're still scoring at a high amount? With Ben and Joe, that ceiling is low in terms of how many points we're going to score. Unless we're playing a team like Charlotte, right? But what you're talking about by splitting Ben and Joe is when Ben is playing defense this way, and trust me, like I said, Ben was not playing this defense this way over the first few games of the season. I thought he was playing subpar defense and being subpar offense. Well, then what are you offering? And I said in that Cleveland game, if you're not playing defense at an all-NBA level, which is difficult, then you're really becoming a liability. Well, he must have listened to the podcast, because since I made that comment, he has been all defense, all NBA defense right now. He is first team all NBA defense over these last 4 games. His defense has been wild, just absolutely causing havoc on the floor. Just no, you're just not going to score. They actually at one point stopped even trying to score on him. You know what I mean? They just said, nah, fuck this. You know, whatever, man. Try to score on Seth or somebody else. Ben's defense has been wild. It's just been great. Let's talk. Danny played well. Danny shooting well. 3 for 8 is pretty much where I think is the best case scenario for Danny. If Danny is going to shoot 38% from 3, we are an elite team. If he's going to shoot 38% from 3, our most elite team. This is our version of our most elite team is the starters here, with Joe finishing with 22, let's say, but even though Joe didn't shoot that many shots, how many shots did Joe shoot? Joe finished shooting with 10, he finished with 10 field goals. Joe scoring 24, let's say 24 to 26. Shake not being trash anymore, right? Shake now being good again at basketball. That is our most elite team. That is how we can be elite. That's what makes us contenders in the East. So Danny shooting 3 for 8 is exactly the pocket where you want him. That 38% mark is exactly the pocket where you want him. because then he's also playing great defense. You know what I mean? Causing havoc. One thing I like about Danny is you see Danny really loud on defense. You know what I mean? He is really loud on defense. He is demanding defense out of everyone on the floor. You know, I'm not going to say he's our defensive leader, but vocally he's looks, when I'm watching the game, he looks like our defensive leader vocally. You know what I mean? Just talking, yelling, demanding everyone to get back, just being loud and holding guys accountable on defense. And I like to see that. If he's going to be shooting well offensively, then we're good to go. We're ready to rock and roll. You know, we're ready for the playoffs if these guys are going to play this way. Seth, a lower scoring total than the last few games, but Seth still played great. You know, honestly, Seth played still just in control, didn't have to do a whole lot. I thought he played great defense. There was one play where he ended up on an island against Seth. I love you. I mean, I love you, Seth. He ended up on an island against LaMelo. LaMelo tried to do a little spin move on him, whatever, and Seth hit the ball and it went out of bounds. And Seth starts shaking his head like get the fuck out, like you're trash. And it just is fantastic. Seth has a chip on his fucking shoulder. And I love it. You know what I mean? You need that guy. You need the chip on the shoulder guy. You need the guy that's like, nah, I'm not you, Joe. I'm not you, Ben. Toby, I don't have the contract like you. Danny, I don't have the championships like you. But I belong here, right? I belong here. Fuck you. I belong here. You know what I mean? Sure, I don't have any of the prestige that comes with being a top 5 lottery pick. I don't have the prestige of being a champion. I don't have the prestige of a max contract, but I'm going to work my ass off, and I belong here. And that's what Seth is bringing, like on every game. You know what I mean? He's playing up. He like kind of plays up to his competition a little bit. You know, if we're being honest, he doesn't play down to it, but he does play up to it. So Seth, man, I love you. Stay here forever, please. Honestly, he's a better version of JJ. They said on yesterday's telecast, and they were high. They said, yeah, Seth, it's kind of like JJ, where JJ would, he could handle a little bit and play make a little bit. And it's like, no. When JJ would handle or play make, it was a car crash. It was the Jaws theme song again. You were just happy if anything positive came out of him dribbling more than 3 or 4 times. He is closer to Danny than he is to Seth. Seth is an actual point guard. Seth can handle and Seth can pass. You know what I mean? They are not the same. Seth is not the shooter that JJ is, but Seth is a very good shooter in his own respect. And when I say he's not the shooter, I mean he has a better 3-point career percentage than JJ does. But JJ is indiscriminate about when he's going to shoot. He doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But when it's starting to get tight and everyone's getting nervous, you need someone who's going to let that bitch fly. And that's what really JJ's best attribute was. If Seth can have that too, and he kind of looks like he does have that little streak in him, then he will be an upgrade from JJ for sure. He's a better defender than JJ is. Shake is struggling, man. Shake is struggling right now. I never heard of a 3rd-year wall, but he's hit a 3rd-year wall somehow. Right, this is his 3rd year, I think. Am I tripping? Let me see something. Now I'm like, I can't remember. Listen, COVID is got me confused completely about NBA timelines. I can't remember if this is his 2nd year or his 3rd year. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. 2018, he was drafted. So this is his 2nd year. He was a rookie last year? Man, was he a rookie last year? This got me confused right now. No, he wasn't a rookie last year. This is his 3rd year. So yeah, I never heard of a 3rd-year wall. But maybe he never properly hit the 2nd-year wall. I don't know. Shake is struggling right now. I think he's playing okay defensively. He's still finishing at a solid clip, but his 3-point shot right now is broke. I don't know what's going on with it. I mean, he's missing open threes. You know what I mean? So I'm not. Half of basketball is a confidence thing, but everything that we hear about Shake is that man is the most confident person on the planet. You know what I mean? And right now, he's not looking confident. He's not shooting well. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. I'm not saying that to say that anything, nothing's going to happen to Shake. It's not like we're not going to play Shake, but would really be very happy if we could see Shake play well again sometime soon. Tyrese, I thought, played really, really well yesterday. Went 2 for 3 from 3. If he's going to make threes, then him and Shake can be a lethal combo. If Shake regains his shooting stroke and Tyrese is going to make threes too, it's going to be lethal because both of these guys can break down a defense. Both of them are really good finishers. And if now both of them are good shooters, shit is going to hit the fan for teams when our bench comes in. And Shake, Tyrese, and Dwight together is going to cause a ton of issues. When we go into the playoffs, you're talking about, when you go into the playoffs, your whatchamacallit, your rotation usually shortens down to 8. It's your 8 guys. Who are the 8 guys? Well, if Shake and Maxey are going to be playing this way, then we know our 8 guys. It's Shake, Maxey, and Dwight. Do you know what I mean? Those are the 8 guys. And maybe with a sprinkle of Furkan, depending on how much offense we need, if Furkan regains his shooting touch. And, got like Matisse and Furkan kind of trading, I would think, right? We need defense. Matisse going. We need offense. Come on, Furkan. But Shake and Tyrese won not only because they're offensive prowess, but they're playing good defense. I mean, Tyrese is hounding people on defense. He's smaller. He's, a smaller guard, but damn, he works his ass off on defense. He really is playing some good defense, in my opinion. That's it. I mean, I kind of skipped. I ran through that, right? I ran through everyone here. I don't even know what else to say. Again, it was just a great team win. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I don't know who I would say. I don't know if I would say anyone played who the best player is. Like I said, I'll give Toby. Also, Toby, congratulations. He won Player of the Week for the NBA. I think that's fucking great for him. But I just thought it was a real team effort. You know what I mean? A real team effort. It's hard to say anyone is the best player of that game and not say it's Joe. Joe is the best player of every game. Because he means too much on offense. He means so much on defense. Listen, I am really excited. I'm really happy that we beat the shit out of these trash teams. Not only did we beat the shit out of them, but we beat them handedly. I mean, beat the shit out of them. But we did it in a row. That's 3 good games. And mind you, the Magic just dominated the Cavaliers last night. The Cavaliers didn't have Darius Garland, but still, I mean, the Cavaliers who blew us out, and who looked like a little Cinderella darling team, the Magic just ran off the court yesterday. So the Magic, at least right now, are a legitimate, are a tough team to beat. Is what I'm gonna say. They're not legitimate contenders, but they're a tough team to beat. We dominated them. Then we dominated the Hornets 2 games in a row. That says a lot. You know what I mean? They're not good teams, but like I said every podcast, beating bad teams is what good teams do. You know what I mean? You have to beat the bad teams. You have to eat up on the bad teams so that on the good teams, you know what I mean, is where your focus is. Yesterday, Joe only played 24 minutes. That's huge. That's huge for us. Ben played a lot more minutes, but essentially what happened was in the third quarter, we set Joe and we start sitting the starters, and Ben's in there, and every time they try to mount a comeback, we calm them the fuck down and punch them back. And then in the fourth quarter, that just kept happening, and before you know it, 6 minutes left in the game, there's no point to even bring any starters in. Ben comes out, and now it's just a bench. So you beat up, you got to feast on the bad teams. You know what I mean? And if Joe's only going to play 24 minutes at the top of the week, we have 3 games left this week. It's Tuesday. We have 2 back-to-backs. We have a back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday, and then we play Saturday. And these aren't going to be easy games. The Wizards, who we beat the shit out of game 1, they're now on a 2-game winning streak. They beat the Nets, and who did they beat before the Nets? It was 2 good wins. No. The first win was no. There was no Russ playing. They beat the Bulls. Then maybe they beat the Bulls, and then they beat the Nets, which was, that's a legitimate win. That was a legitimate win right there. The Nets are hitting a little they're struggling a bit right now. So there's 2 things about this game. So one, the Wizards. All right, yeah. So that's, the Wizards are kind of feeling themselves right now. So we're going to get a team that believes that they should be in the playoffs. And like I said in the beginning, I thought they should be in the playoffs too. So I think that's going to be a game that we got to be like, get up for, right? It's Russ. Russ loves to talk, but let's get up for it. The Nets, we got no KD. That doesn't mean that we fall asleep because they still have Kyrie, and Kyrie can go ballistic at any time. They won't have KD because of contact tracing, COVID contact tracing. So he was around someone who had COVID, so he has to quarantine for 7 days. So they won't have KD. They still have pieces. Losing Spencer is a bigger deal than I think people realize. But their biggest problem right now is turnovers. They're turning over an obscene amount. You know what I mean? I think they lead the league in turnovers or something like that. They may not lead the league, but they have a lot of turnovers. When they clean that up, they'll be fine. But, that's why they're losing games over the last few weeks. They're just struggling on turnovers. Their offense hits these moments where it's just guys that are doing too much sometimes, it seems like. And KD is just too many possessions where I'm watching Karras do a lot of stuff, and KD is just standing there and is like, what are you doing? And I like Karras, but if you need a bucket, Karras, you're not the bucket getter, not when KD's on the floor. And then Saturday we got the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a good team. They suck this year. They don't suck this year, but they're just losing a lot. Their defense, last year, what was making them good was their defense. Jeremy Grant was a part of that. You know what I mean? Jeremy Grant was a big part of that. Not this big of a part. I mean, through the first part of the season last year, they were the best defensive team in the NBA. Jeremy Grant didn't make them the best defensive team in the NBA. But them losing Jeremy Grant, now they are like the worst defensive team in the NBA. And yeah, Jeremy Grant probably does have something to do with them now being the worst defensive team in the NBA. Still, Joker is leading the league in assists, which is crazy to think about. The center is leading the NBA in assists. He's averaging 13 assists a game. That is not going to necessarily be an easy game. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily going to be an easy game. All of these games are winnable. Then we play the Hawks, who are struggling a bit. Super high-scoring team, trash on defense, but super high-scoring team. I think they're second in offensive rating. The Bucks are first in offensive rating. And then we play the Heat. So next game, like I said, Wednesday, Wizards, Thursday, Nets. So you might get three back-to-back episodes. I might give you 2 episodes, one for Wednesday, Thursday, and then one for the NBA. We'll see. Everyone, you know the drill already. Wash your hands. COVID is terrible. Get vaccinated or stay the fuck away from me. It's not a requirement that you get vaccinated, but it is a requirement if you want to be around me at all. Wash your face. Just wash your face of your stupid ugliness. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Black Lives Matter. Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. You know the drill. Peace out.
Justice for the blind, just something that'll find in the rhymes that are coming from my mind. Used to come in